Hello, we are ready to get started. Today is Tuesday, February 17th, 2026. This is the City Council's regular meeting that I am calling to order. And can we have roll call?
Mayor Daggett.
Here.
Vice Mayor Sweet. Here. Sorry.
Here.
Councilmember Aslan. Councilmember Garcia.
Here.
Councilmember House.
Here.
Councilmember Matthews.
Here.
Councilmember Spence.
Vice Mayor, thank you. Councilmember Aslan, would you read our mission statement?
The mission of the City of Flagstaff is to protect and enhance the quality of life for all.
And Councilmember Garcia, do you have the land acknowledgement handy?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. The Flagstaff City Council humbly acknowledges the ancestral homelands of this area's indigenous nations and original stewards. These lands, still inhabited by native descendants, border mountains sacred to indigenous peoples. We honor them, their legacy, their tradition, and their continued contributions. We celebrate their past, present, and future generations who will forever know this place as home.
Thank you. All right, next we have approval of minutes from previous meetings. Council, do you have any questions? And if not, I will entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move that we approve the council meeting minutes for the retreat of January 15th, 2026, the regular meeting of January 20th, 2026, work session of January 27th, 2026, the special meeting executive session of February 3rd, 2026.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, next up we have open call to the public, which enables the public to address the council about any item that is not on tonight's printed agenda. And because whatever you are going to speak to us is not agendized, we can't have a back and forth with you. First up, we have Dennis Gibbons.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayors, City Council staff, and good residents of Flagstaff. I'm Dennis Gibbons, ancient astronaut theorist. I'm here to talk about the rising of property taxes because the city's operation costs are outpacing revenue growth. I went on the Nextdoor app to ask residents how they feel about this matter. The following comments that I received the most likes are as followed. Raise taxes on short-term rentals. This is crazy they want to raise taxes again. Flagstaff is way too expensive. How about cutting spending? Instead of raising taxes, the city should balance the budget by cutting unnecessary programs that cost millions and don't make a difference, like the carbon neutrality plan and the entire sustainability department. Personally, I'm not for firing, but rather inspiring. The sustainability department does magnificent work. They do awesome things such as community gardens, retrofitting, climate resilience, food security, educational programs, and also promote other futuristic ideas. The city must invest heavily in solar energy to recover the cost of operation. We're gonna rock down to Electric Avenue, and then we're gonna take it higher. Public Works Department seems like they're doing a respectable job with the mention of cost recovery and balancing the budget. I think it's an innovative idea to pick up recycling every other week, to save money and to reduce wear on service vehicles and use less gasoline. We can educate the community on the benefits of breaking down boxes or sending boxes back to Amazon. Jeff Bezos better step up his efforts or, excuse my language, we're gonna tax that ass. Fun fact, Calvin Coolidge was the last president of the United States to balance the budget every year of his presidency. That's cool. Lidge. I love you all, especially Anthony. Let's balance the budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Colleen Maring.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. My name is Colleen Maring. I'm the Chief People Officer at Northern Arizona Healthcare. And as you all are very aware, last week we announced that our Board of Directors and Executive Leadership Team decided to temporarily pause on planning for a new hospital. I wanted to address that and a couple of the misconceptions that have come up since today, since it's such an important decision with impacts for not just Flagstaff, but the whole region. First, we still know and have reaffirmed that the region needs a new hospital. FMC is at, above, or very near capacity every day for adult inpatients. That means that people end up waiting longer in our emergency department because they can't get into the hospital bed they need. It also means that we are now routinely placing adults with no surgical needs on gurneys in our pre-op area of our operating room because we have nowhere else to park the gurneys while we wait for a bed to become available. We place women on labor and delivery even though they're not laboring moms if they have a bed available. We place younger adults on our pediatric unit even though they are not children if there is more space there than in our other areas. And this isn't the ideal physical environment in which to provide care. One of the big misconceptions that's resurfaced is that our capacity constraints are related to staffing. And I ran through some of those examples to illustrate how it's the opposite. When we place, we essentially set up a little miniature medical surgical unit inside our operating room. We actually bring in even more staff to care for those patients inside the operating room. So we're not staff limited, we're staffing these little makeshift areas around the hospital, but we're out of physical space in beds and rooms. That said, while we bring in all that staff to make sure we still provide safe, high-quality care, we need the physical environment to change. But we also know that we have significant financial headwinds that are coming our way. In particular, some of the largest are cuts to our Medicaid reimbursement and reductions in what commercial insurers pay us. And we have to take those cuts to how much we're reimbursed even as the cost to provide our care increases. So we know right now is not the time to undertake that investment while we wait to see how these Medicaid cuts roll out and are implemented or not if there are political changes in the future. So as the board and the executive leadership team continue to try to balance those priorities of meeting the region's care in a physically appropriate and ideal environment, but also ensuring financial stability to continue to care for generations to come, that's the balance we'll continue to be reassessing month to month and year to year as we move forward. Healthcare is rapidly changing. It's affecting all of Arizona and us, and we look forward to continuing to partner to care for our community. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next up, we have council liaison reports. I will start with Councilmember Matthews.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a couple. Last week, we had our Indigenous Commission meeting. We welcomed Libby Washburn as the new commissioner. She is a member of the Chickasaw Nation. And then the remainder of our meeting was just talking about the powwow that the city of Flagstaff is planning, and in partnership also with the Flagstaff High School Native American Club. They're doing their own powwow, so we are organizing and syncing both events so they don't compete with each other. Last week was our executive meeting for the CJCC, which is Criminal Justice Coordinating Council. And we spent the majority of the meeting focused on just a structured review of the recommendations provided by Dr. Bijot, who had been with us for over a year, every month doing strategic planning and just reevaluating our efforts. We did discuss practical steps such as improving public data dashboard, simplifying reports, creating short informational videos, adding a fact and expanding opportunities for community outreach and feedback, and get out in the community more often. Thank you.
Councilmember Garcia.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. No new news today, but we do have an upcoming joint Parks and Recreation open space meeting. I'm excited to see Councilmember Spence over there on February 23rd. Thank you.
Councilmember Aslan.
Nothing new to report this week. I am looking forward to consent agenda item H, which is something that at the very least co-evolved out of the Tourism Commission.
Vice Mayor.
Nothing new, but I will say tomorrow there's a Mountain Line meeting 10 to noon. I might be joining that virtually this time around due to the snow. And our Water Commission meeting on Thursday is canceled for this month.
Councilmember House.
Thank you, Mayor. Just very briefly, last week I had the honor of attending the Flagstaff Sister City annual meeting at which we hosted the Mexican consul based out of Phoenix. Councilmember Garcia and Councilmember Spence were also able to join for that meeting. It was a wonderful time to connect and hear on things that had happened over the past year and look forward to furthering that relationship as well as conversation just about general state of affairs across the state and particularly with our Hispanic, Latine, and particularly the immigrant and migrant communities. So look forward to continuing those conversations and furthering those partnerships. Thank you.
Councilmember Spence.
Thank you, Mayor. The only thing I have to report is that the Pedestrian Advisory Committee and the Bicycle Advisory Committees, which both report to the Transportation Commission, both of these committees will be meeting on an every other month basis until city staffing can replace those who have departed or are departing. So those committees will be on a 2-month schedule. Other than that, nothing to report.
Thank you. Next up, we have liquor license public hearings. Item number 7. I will open the public hearing and we will hear from staff on this application.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. My name is Jessica Matias on behalf of Georgiana Stasky, Deputy City Clerk. Before you today is a liquor license application for an owner transfer of a Series 09 liquor store license for Milton Mobile located at 2020 South Milton Road. The agent and owner on the application is Roshan S. Goswami. The Police Department and Planning and Development Services have conducted their respective investigations, and the reports are included in the agenda packet, and there are representatives from the divisions here to answer any questions you may have. Representatives from the business have also been invited to attend the hearing today.
Thank you. Council, do you have any questions? Do we have any public comment? I will close the public hearing. And council, if you have any thoughts, or I'm open for a motion. Yes.
As a point of clarification and to educate me as a new council member, do we have any criteria as to how many such licenses are advisable or needed or necessary or allowed? I realize this is a matter of individual entrepreneurs wanting to offer sales of spirituous liquors. And I'm aware that there are restrictions for such establishments with regard to schools or maybe churches, I don't know. But I noticed in the packet that we were given that there are already 40-some such licenses in our city. And according to the map that was in our packet, the closest already licensed establishment is less than a block away. So do we have any criteria on how densely packed these licenses should be allowed?
Thank you, Councilmember. Stacy, would you like to address that?
Sure. Good afternoon. Stacy Salzberg. I serve as your Communication and Civic Engagement Director. With regards to liquor licenses, there are a number of different series. Some of those series, there's really an unlimited amount of how many can come into and apply to be within a jurisdiction. There are some, however, that we refer to as quota licenses, where the state provides a number of licenses that can come into a jurisdiction. So a Series 9, I believe this is a quota license. And so I don't know the number right off the top of my head, but there's only so many of them that are allowed within our jurisdiction. As it relates to your question about what we refer to as saturation, which is, how many are in certain areas and if we can utilize that as a criteria for a recommendation of denial, we cannot. The way that it is set up is that we are not able to use saturation as a reason for denial. I will say that with this particular application, this is a business that has been operating under this license for quite some time. This is just an owner transfer from, one business owner to another. So whether they acquired the business or whatnot, it's not actually changing with that particular location. Does that answer your question?
Yes, that is helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that question, Councilmember Spence, because those sorts of questions come up from time to time, and I think it's always good to have a refresher and for the public to hear it as well. Does anyone have a motion?
Mayor, I'll move that we move this application to the state with a recommendation of approval.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. We are moving down to the consent agenda, and consent agendas are considered by the council to be routine unless a member of the city council expresses a desire at the meeting to remove an item from the consent agenda for a discussion. The consent agenda will be enacted by one motion approving the recommendations listed on the agenda, and unless otherwise indicated, expenditures approved by council are budgeted items. Councilmember Aslan, did you want to pull item H? Sure. Okay. So let's go ahead. Are there any other items that a council member would like to pull? So let's go ahead and vote on the consent agenda, all the items with the exception of H. And I am looking for a motion.
Madam Mayor, I move to approve A through G of the consent agenda as published.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, Councilmember Aslan.
Well, I was just hoping to give this letter a moment. I see we have Heidi with us. I don't know if she's prepared to speak on this or give any background. I think it's low-hanging fruit for us up here at the dais, but just wanted to clue the public into what's going on. I'm not sure a lot of people understand what's happening with the national parks and how it's going to affect Flagstaff. Just wanted to give a few seconds of time to shine a light on all that.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council Members, Heidi Hansen, Economic Vitality Director. I'm going to let Sarah Langley do her amazing job and tell you exactly what's in this letter. And I can't help myself, but I have to give a shout out to our city manager, Joanne King. She's where this really started. And then Trace Ward had shared it with our Tourism Commission, and then they said they wanted to be more involved in all of that. So we've had a lot of people involved in trying to get something out about this new decision on national parks. So I'm going to let Sarah take it away.
Thank you, Heidi, and good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Yeah, so we learned about this fee that actually went into effect on January 1 of the new year. It is a $100 fee for non-resident visitors to, I believe it's the top 11 or 12 most visited national parks. I was actually at the Grand Canyon this weekend, and there's a lot of signage about this, so it's definitely in place. So we put together this letter at the request of City Manager Keene, just to highlight to our federal representatives the impact that this will have on our tourism industry here in Flagstaff and also surrounding cities such as Williams and other areas. So.
Thank you. I don't have anything else. I would encourage the public to look up this agenda item and read the letter itself if you have any other curiosity about some of the details. And thank you, Mayor, for signing the letter.
All right, I'm looking for a motion to approve item H.
I move that we approve item H.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, we're moving on to routine items. 9A is consideration and approval of a contract.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Shannon Anderson, your Assistant City Manager. I am presenting for you this afternoon, but please know there is a large team of individuals who have been working in order to create this contract and the process that brought us here today. So to start with a little bit of background, we identified the transformation of our downtown as a council budget consideration. This was during our January retreat of 2025. Then following up in our April council budget retreat, we talked a little bit more about what downtown enhancements could look like here in Flagstaff. Based on those discussions, staff, along with some of our downtown business owners, went away and designed a scope of work that led us to then the request for proposal, which is the solicitation document we used in October of 2025. I think it's important to call out, when we talked about the downtown enhanced services, previously we thought it would be an IGA with FD Bird, given that we already have an agreement in place with them. But staff decided a way to really streamline this process was to make sure that we have a solicitation, and so that's what we did in October. During October, we also approved an increase in parking rates. This is one of the funding mechanisms to pay for these enhanced services. And then most recently, we selected a contractor, our Flagstaff Downtown Business Alliance, and we've been working with that team to negotiate a contract. So the purpose of this contract is to provide a greater level of support to our downtown. They're one of our leading economic drivers here in our community. We wanted to partner with an agency that works to preserve, promote, and enhance the vitality of our historic downtown. By enhance, we mean they're going to focus on sanitation, maintenance, beautification, and events and marketing. So here's some more specifics about what those enhanced services will include. We have graffiti, we have excrement and weed removal, we've got pressure washing, surface cleaning, also the cleaning of our parking kiosks that are used regularly in this space. We have the downtown restrooms that are there in the alleyway by Heritage Square. It'll be cleaned and serviced as part of this contract. There will be painting not only of the red and yellow curbs in the downtown space, but also those downtown green assets that you see. Snow, ice, and cinder removal, as well as post-event cleanup. The hope is having an enhanced downtown contract will allow us to see even more events in this space. Daily regular cleaning, and then again, that event and marketing programming. So the contract itself is a 3-year term with renewal up to 2 additional 1-year terms. This contract will include a team of cleaning ambassadors, team leaders, operational manager, marketing and communications manager, and a program manager. The annual compensation for this contract is just under $667,000, including fees and taxes. This will be invoiced monthly, so 1/12 of that amount will be invoiced each month over that year. The team will provide quarterly reports to city staff and will be before you twice per year to talk about their progress and where we've seen success. That's the presentation that I have for you today, but we're here certainly to answer any questions that you might have and for the discussion.
Vice Mayor?
Thank you. Thank you, Shannon, for bringing this forward tonight. I do have a couple of questions and then a comment. So if the performance standards are not met, what corrective measures are we going to take in the contract?
Sure. So like any contract, one of the things that would be triggered is for us to sit down with the contract provider and talk about those areas where the service isn't being met and to try and work that out. In the end, I've had, I think, one contract over my time with the city where we couldn't get to some outcomes that were positive for both parties, and we ended up ending that contract. But it always starts just a back and forth discussion as to what we're seeing, and then for the vendor to be able to talk about how they can meet those expectations.
Great. And how will the downtown businesses give feedback during, especially when this rolls out?
As far as the enhanced services
Yep,
themselves.
like the performance and how it's all going. How can businesses have their voice heard in kind of like a review or comments or, this is working, maybe not this?
Yeah, I'm not sure that we've discussed that, Vice Mayor, so I'm going to take a stab at it, and then I would encourage if Hunter wants to join, or Kevin, or anyone from the city staff. I think as far as downtown business owners being able to share feedback, I think there are mechanisms, the stakeholder meeting that happens certainly is a place to be able to provide feedback. Could share with Hunter, he can pass along to us. I mean, I think there are certain meetings and conversations that could be had, but I'm not sure that that's something we've addressed in the contract. Did you want to add to it? Thanks.
Good afternoon, Hunter Bear, Flagstaff Downtown Business Alliance. So one of the mechanisms, if you're not satisfied or you see something that needs addressed, we will have a number on all the vehicles that will be moving around downtown, also a number that is kind of a dispatch line to address things quickly. So we hope to get positive reviews that way, and hopefully there's not things that aren't addressed. So bring them to our attention ASAP, and we'll get to work on them. And then stakeholder meetings and other ways that you can report to us, and email me directly or the info@downtownflagstaff.org. And we're just really excited to put this into work and put this plan into action and start responding to things really quickly and to bring a better level of service to our downtown. There's a lot of foot traffic through there, so it's really hard to keep up with that demand with the city staff right now. So we're really excited to push this a little further. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, and I know there's other questions from council members. I just real quick do want to thank everyone involved in this. It was not an easy process. We definitely had to think outside the box on this one, and there were times that I think we all got frustrated and wanted to give up, but we didn't. So I just really appreciate all of the hard work. Investing in these enhanced services is not just about appearance, it's about the economy, our visitor experience, business success, and community pride. So thank you again to everyone involved. And I do want to do a special shout out to Shannon Anderson. She did not give up on this, and there were plenty of give and takes, and she always was willing to do the giving. So I appreciate that, and I look forward to hearing what my colleagues have to say.
Councilmember Matthews.
Thank you, Mayor. Hunter, do you think there's any way we could go through like the line items and figure out where we could cut out that 5 cents?
Yeah, I would leave that to Rick. He's pretty good at that. He likes round numbers.
Thank you. I just wanted to make a comment. A couple of years ago, I was visiting a friend in Coeur d'Alene, and I don't know if they have a special, assessment or whatever, but they really kind of upped their visitor experience. They have these little hidden, I forgot what the figurine is, but you look forward to finding them throughout the town. It was symbolic of the town, and you could tell they really put a great focus on their downtown area, and I expect that we'll have that, see that subtle shift for our downtown, because it is so, is such a hub for our visitors and tourism. A question that doesn't really impact this line item, but just out of curiosity, I know the downtown business owners many years ago imposed a tax on themselves to help with, you know, how I understand it, additional maintenance and stuff. Does that change with this contract, or is that self-imposed district? Is it a district tax? Does that get changed at all?
The special assessment district is still in place through the FD Bird, yes. It's not a replacement, it's an enhancement. Maybe referring to the initial streetscape investments that were done by the.
No, I
the
was
school
thinking of
district.
the district
Oh,
tax.
yeah.
I didn't know a lot about it, but I didn't know if that was going to change at all with this additional service.
No, everything is still in place.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Any other questions? All right, Vice Mayor?
I am so excited to do this motion. I move that we approve the Downtown Flagstaff Enhanced Services Contract with Flagstaff Downtown Business Alliance in the amount of $666,959.05 annually, and authorize the city manager to execute all necessary documents.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you for all your work on this. All right, moving down to B, consideration and approval of contract. Hello again, Shannon.
This one is not me, but I'm closing down my presentation.
Goodbye, Shannon.
Goodbye.
Hello, Jen.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm trying to be Shannon. I aspire to be her. But I am here today. I don't have a presentation, but I just want to give you a brief of what we have. So we are requesting the purchases of a Ford F-150 Lightning, which is an electric vehicle. So this F-150 Lightning directly meets engineering daily operational needs. It'll perform the same tasks as a gas truck. So basically, we are replacing one of the vehicles that got hit on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. This was already approved by the Fleet Management Committee. And then the next one, we have a Peoria Ford Hybrid F-150. This vehicle is going to be assigned to emergency management. It's going to support operations and must be mission-ready 24/7. So it's used during disasters, prolonged storms, and multi-agency incidents. It also often operates in remote areas. When there's wildland fires, they're often going out to the forest, and there are no chargers out in the forest. So this is why we're requesting to do a hybrid that balances readiness, performance, and sustainability. And then the next one we're requesting to purchase is an F-250 for the newly instated Water Services Supervisor. And this truck is going to require frequent call-outs, hauling tools, and towing. And there is also not an available feature for a Ford, for a 250 at this size to be able to haul the equipment that they're doing. And they will also be used as call-outs 24/7 if needed. And that is all I have.
Council, do you have any, Councilmember Aslan,
Mayor, I have a motion if there's no discussion.
any questions? All right, so we're going to take each separately. So a motion on B.
All right, okay. I move that we approve regular routine item B.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Do you want to make the motion on C?
Mayor, I'd like to move that we approve routine item C.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, D. Oh, wait, nope.
C.
Wait a minute.
C
Where
is-
am I?
C
B
is
and
there
C. I skipped ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's just keep going. D, E. All right, so 9C, nope. 9D, consideration and approval of contract.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Joanne Keene, your city manager. I am before you today. I do not have a presentation, but this is request for approval of a cooperative purchase contract with Interim Public Management, LLC. I wanted to just kind of give an overview of the kind of work that IPM provides to local government organizations. And we have had a contract with IPM in the past, and this is just renewing that contract and working from the cooperative contract that they have with the city of Phoenix. This is a service that is provided kind of just in case. So for example, if we have a division director that is no longer to serve as division director, IPM has individuals that can step into that role pretty seamlessly and serve in kind of a short capacity while you are working through a recruitment. City of Flagstaff has used IPM for a couple of different instances related to our human resources division transition, when we had unfortunately a couple of deaths in that seat, and we had individuals that came in to serve in an interim capacity. So I'm before you today asking for your approval of this contract with IPM.
Thank you. Council, do you have any questions? I will entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move to approve the cooperative purchase agreement or contract with Interim Public Management, LLC, and authorize the city manager to execute the necessary documents.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right,
Thank you so much.
All right, we're down to public hearing items. And we are not going to have a presentation because, or are we? No presentation because we are canceling the public hearing. Now, city attorney, process-wise, do I have to open the public hearing and then cancel it?
No, Mayor.
Okay, so we are skipping over A and B. Thank you, Ben. We're down to,
You still need to have a motion to cancel. The recommended motions are to cancel the public hearing. You just don't need to open the public hearing to do it.
I get it.
Thanks.
Can I have a motion to cancel the
So
public
moved.
hearing? Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Can I have a motion for the second public hearing?
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, moving down. 11A, consideration and adoption of ordinance number 2026-02 and 03. Hello.
Hi, Tiffany Antal, Zoning Code Manager. I am here today to present a very quick text amendment to both Title 10 and Title 11. That's why you see two different ordinances under this one agenda item, because I'm special. And just really quick to get going on this amendment, the first up is Title 10, which is our zoning code. We have a small change. It is to 2 footnotes on our land use allowed table. And specifically what this is about is the standards for residential development in our community commercial zone. So we generally allow, and now will allow middle housing, but previously it was just duplex. So up to 4 units now are allowed without a conditional use permit in the community commercial zone. Those are generally held to the medium-density residential development standards because the community commercial zone doesn't have typical residential setbacks. It's pretty much 0 on most of the setbacks, so those don't work well for residential development. So we use the medium-density development standards. A while ago, when I changed some of the language in here, I used development standards too broadly, And that was interpreted to include density, and that was not the intention. So the intention here is to make it clear that the community commercial zone is allowed 29 units per acre and not the 14 in the medium density residential zone. So just a clarification here. The next step is a change to our subdivision code, which is Title 11. And it is the removal of one more piece of code. This is a straggler. There's gonna be, I'm so sorry. I will have another one next month. But we will be done, I promise, after next month, changing over and getting rid of the administrative review process of subdivision plats. It's been a journey. We jumped ahead of the state legislature before it was just voluntary. So we had some straggler pieces and then it became mandatory. And as we run these cases through, we're learning the little pieces that got left behind from the voluntary to mandatory. With that, there are 3 findings that need to be made. This is more for the zoning code map or zoning code text amendment, but I like to generally apply these to all of both the subdivision code as well. The first up is that it's compatible with our Flagstaff regional plan, and as you can guess, there's not a lot in the regional plan right now that goes towards these, but talking about greater flexibility in development standards, really, this is just a cleanup and a clarification item. It was always 29 units per acre, so we're not really fundamentally changing what was allowed in the zoning district, and then also to consider creative policy and planning tools. And again, this is just really gonna support our middle housing text amendment as well. And then the amendment will not be detrimental to the public interest, health, safety, or welfare. Again, these are both just cleanups, one meeting state law requirements, and the second just restating what's allowed in the community commercial zone. And the amendment is internally consistent and uses the existing format of the code. If you should have, the Planning and Zoning Commission did recommend approval of this unanimously, and if you have any questions, I would be happy to try to answer them.
Council, do you have any questions? Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. My apologies if I missed this in your presentation, but we're amending to relate to the 2030 plan. How does this amendment relate to the 2045 plan should the voters approve it in this spring?
Thank you so much, Mayor and Councilmember Spence. It is also in conformance with the community commercial zone standards that would be within the 2045 plan. Although if the 2045 plan is adopted, there'll be more work to do in terms of density ranges within the zoning code. But this is an interim fix.
So we can expect to see you back with another presentation if it passes?
You can expect to see me back probably every month until I retire.
Vice Mayor.
Thanks, and thanks, Tiffany. We love seeing you up here, so please, every month is great. I did have some questions, but you actually answered them in your presentation. So thank you for making it easy for us to all understand. I appreciate how you can break it down for us, so thank you.
Thank you.
If there are no other questions, I'll entertain a motion to read the first ordinance by title only for the first time.
Mayor, I'll move that we read ordinance number 2026-02 by title only for the first time.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, City Clerk.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Flagstaff, amending the Flagstaff City Code Title 10, Flagstaff Zoning Code, Chapter 10-40, specific to zones, Division 10-40.30, non-transect zones, providing for repeal of conflicting ordinances, severability, authority for clerical corrections, and establishing an effective date.
And a motion to read the next ordinance.
Mayor, I move that we read ordinance number 2026-03 by title only for the first time.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? City Clerk.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Flagstaff amending the Flagstaff City Code Title 11, General Plans and Subdivision, Chapter 11-20, Subdivision and Land Split Regulations, Division 11-20.40, Subdivision Procedures and Requirements, providing for repeal of conflicting ordinances, severability, authority for clerical corrections, and establishing an effective date.
Thank you. All right, we are moving down to item B, consideration and approval of resolution number 2026-10. Thank you, Tiffany.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Sarah Dar, serving as your Housing Director. The item before you for consideration this afternoon is to amend the Section 8 Administrative Plan, creating a local preference for any existing City of Flagstaff voucher holder facing termination due to insufficient or discontinued funding. I don't usually read to you, but I wanted all the right words in order. The impetus for this change is that HUD has ended funding for the Emergency Housing Voucher Program 5 years early. And through that process, funding will run out likely in September or before. We currently have 18 clients housed through this program. This amendment is something that is suggested by HUD as we transition out of this program, which will allow us to keep these voucher holders safely housed and not return them to the cycle of homelessness. Emergency Housing Voucher Program was targeted to households exiting homelessness or those fleeing domestic or dating violence or human trafficking, some of our most vulnerable folks in the community. Instead of coming through the waiting list, these clients were required to be identified in partnership with the continuum of care, making them even more immediately vulnerable at the time of housing. With this funding ending, keeping them housed is absolutely critical. We are in a very fortunate position that with us receiving vouchers from the former Williams Voucher Program, that we actually have some available vouchers at this point in time to be able to shift these residents over to vouchers. A lot of communities are not in our position and are in a semi-panic mode. We're very fortunate to be able to do this and continue housing them. What this local preference will do is move them in front of everyone else on the waiting list so that they're able to remain housed and not start back at the bottom of the waiting list. We have two other local preferences. One is that you must be local. You must live or work within our service area. And the other is we have a small set aside of 4 vouchers for those exiting homelessness annually. So this preference will be added to that list. We wrote this broadly. I can't take credit for the idea of writing it broadly. I stole this directly from my colleagues in Southern Arizona, so that some jurisdictions passed local preferences specific to AHV program. We had a statewide directors meeting where it was discussed broadening that language so that if in the future we face the discontinuation of funding or decreased funding where we aren't able to continue to house those currently on the program, that that preference would apply to those. So we're not coming back saying, oh, now this program, which is why it's written the way that it is. Currently, the Emergency Housing Voucher Program is the only program impacted at this point in time, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Councilmember Matthews.
Thank you, Mayor. So just for clarification, the emergency housing vouchers, before discontinuing that section of the program, how would someone still needing housing assistance ever transition to our regular voucher program, or did they ever? It was just a separate program?
Mayor, Councilmember Matthews, so this was always a separate program. It was established in 2021 with an anticipated 10 years of funding. It was discussed by HUD at that point in time that before the funding would run out, that it was hopeful that Congress would make it permanent funding. The other piece that's unique about this program is that we were granted 29 original vouchers. Past September 2023, if a voucher was surrendered, by a household no longer needing it, we couldn't reissue the voucher. Usually a housing voucher comes back to us and we reissue it to a different household. These were different. So I think the other anticipated piece was over the 10 years, the number of folks on the program would decrease. And so in the recent THUD bill that was approved by Congress 2 weeks ago yesterday, there are some specific provisions within that that are strongly encouraging jurisdictions to do what we're doing in order to keep people stably housed.
And just to confirm, we have, because of the Williams voucher program that we absorbed, was it last year? We have the permanent, not permanent, but the Section 8 housing vouchers to just transfer over to these individuals that are using the emergency vouchers currently?
We do currently at this time, yes.
And just out of curiosity, I remember when I was in that space, there was a very large waiting list. Do you have a number to cite on what the waiting list for just, because I know people would come from out of state and they say, I'm holding a voucher, and you know, we would tell them it's 2-3 years out, and can you just, out of curiosity, answer that?
It's still 2 to 3 years out, and while I was driving over here for this meeting, I thought, you know what I should have in my pocket is the number of people on the waiting list, and I don't have that in front of me at this point in time. We still estimate for folks 2 to 3 years. It depends on a number of factors. However, because we have the local preference where we house those who live or work in our area first, we haven't ever run out of local need in this area, and so we have not issued vouchers to someone moving to our community.
Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I will entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move that we read resolution number 2026-10 by title only.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. City Clerk?
A resolution of the Flagstaff City Council amending the Section 8 Administrative Plan to create a local preference for existing City of Flagstaff Housing Authority assisted voucher holders facing termination due to insufficient or discontinued funding, providing for delegation of authority to implement the program and establishing an effective date.
Mayor, I move that we read resolution number, or adopt resolution number 2026-10.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, moving down to C, consideration and adoption, ordinance number 2026-04. Hello, Richard.
Not many people call me Richard anymore, but good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Council members. Rick Tatter, Management Services Director. Item 11C before you is seeking approval of ordinance 2026-04 to delay the implementation of the parking rate increase that's expected to be effective March 1st of this year. When we initially brought the rate study and the rate adoption to City Council back in October, we felt we had ample time to allow to do the contractual work, give time for setup for the organization that delivers a service, and a 60-day period to show how services have been performed in the downtown area prior to rates being in effect. As you had just adopted that contract earlier today, under item 9A that was presented, we are now seeking to delay this rate increase till August 1st to allow that time to show the enhanced services being delivered in our community before we start charging that dollar increase that we have planned currently for March 1st. So with that, we're seeking your first read of this ordinance tonight, and if you do approve that, we'll be back next week for the second read. I'm here for any questions.
Council, any questions? All right, I will entertain a motion.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to read ordinance number 2026-4 by title only for the first time.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? City Clerk?
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Flagstaff, amending the Flagstaff City Code Title III Business Regulations, Chapter 3-10 User Fees, Section 3-10-001, 2024-0010 parking fees park flag district, subsection A, parking fees to amend the effective date of parking fee increases, providing for penalties, repeal of conflicting ordinances, severability, authority for clerical corrections, and establishing an effective date.
All right. Moving down to D, consideration and adoption of resolution number 2026-09.
Hello again. I'm everywhere. So the agreement before you with this resolution is to approve a contract with Coconino County for election services for the May 19th special election. This contract allows the county to essentially conduct the election. They're responsible for things like ballot printing, mailing, and all of those wonderful things that go into a ballot by mail election. Their fee for service is $2.50 per registered voter. With roughly 50,000 registered voters in the city of Flagstaff, that we're looking at approximately $150,000 to conduct the election. So we're just seeking approval of that so we can move forward.
Council, any questions? I will entertain a motion.
I move that we read resolution number 2026-09 by title only.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. Oh, she's already back. Thank you.
It's me again. A resolution approving the intergovernmental agreement between the City of Flagstaff and Coconino County for election services for the May 19th, 2026 special election.
And a motion to adopt?
I move that we adopt resolution number 2026-09.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Next, and she's back. Next up, we have consideration and approval of the use of the Council Initiative Fund.
Thank you, Mayor. We have received a request at the last council meeting from Councilmember House to utilize the Council Initiative Fund to make a donation that would support the families of the recently lost DPS officers. So that request came in from Councilmember House. We also, kind of in between the publication of the agenda and today, I know that the mayor has got another request for Coconino Humane Association for their free spay and neuter clinic. And I do believe that Councilmember Garcia may also have a request. So I'll open the floor to council to discuss, and we'll look for any action on those items today. Just so that you're aware, we do have $7,700 currently available within the fund.
Great. So Councilmember House, would you like to add anything?
Not particularly, Mayor, thank you. I am just looking for conversation and support from council on potentially moving this forward. I know that there were some questions that maybe you had, Mayor, on if we could do this, and I am open to that conversation as well. I did make a personal contribution at the event on Saturday, so if we are not able to move this forward, I have no opposition to that either. Just wanted to give the opportunity to the rest of council. Thank you.
And we did receive word that making a contribution to the Fraternal Order of Police and Arizona Troopers Association in support of the families was appropriate. So we are good there. Did you have a dollar figure?
I was going to suggest $1,000 to keep it on the lower end, but still a significant amount for each of the officers' families. But I would be open to any other amounts that were suggested by council.
Okay. Council, do you have any questions for Councilmember House? Councilmember Matthews.
Mayor, if Councilmember Garcia has one, two, can we hear all of the presentation? I mean, we are in February, our fiscal year ends in July, so I'd like to have a bigger picture.
Sure thing. Councilmember Garcia?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have two requests, and these can be seen as, and/or if the council wants to discuss. The first one is for the Guadalupanas, which is an organization who helps Our Lady of Guadalupe Church. They are hosting a centennial celebration of the building and founding of Our Lady of Guadalupe Church. The celebration is slated for, and I will probably get this date wrong because I couldn't pull up the email, but sometime in late May. 16th, that's what I thought. And then I thought it was the 17th because they said it was going to be after Mass, but I'm not exactly sure. So May 16th, this celebration will begin at the Catholic Church with the Mass and the service. And after that, it'll be moved to the courtyard for a celebration and a reflection of Hispanic heritage and the story that that church, the church's development and building has brought to our community. And also a little bit of a history of Hispanic heritage in Flagstaff. And it coincides somewhat, not directly, but we're also having a couple of celebrations, a centennial celebration for Route 66 and the quincentennial celebration for our good old US of A.'s 250th anniversary. I know that they don't exactly correlate together, but since we are having these celebrations, I think that there will be some synergy between them. And I am open and amenable to the amount that we would want to contribute to this party if we decided that this is what we wanted to do. And I would start that off at $500 for this ask, $500 to $1,000. The second one is an ask for $1,000 for Bella Folklorico de Colores. Recently, Bella Folklorico has suffered a major financial mishap due to their credit card and donation processor declaring bankruptcy, and in that process, $13,500 was disappeared from their fund, and they're not real sure if they're going to be getting that back. Matter of fact, they have no idea. It was part of the bankruptcy process, so what they were left with in the end was $2,000 for operations, which is enough for them to continue going, but moving into their more popular season for dance, they're definitely looking for funders right now. And typically I wouldn't bring this up because they have such a robust community presence, and their fundraising has been so good, but it was because of this mishap, I think that it would benefit the community in a great way to kind of kick off that fundraising again and get the donors back on page with donating after such a harsh loss. This program really enhances arts and brings arts and culture, specifically Hispanic culture, to our community and our community's youth that may not really understand this part of the Hispanic culture. And they have kept it alive since I was a kid, so it brings a special part to my heart. And then for that one, I did ask for that full $1,000 if it's possible. I'm open for discussion on both of these items. Thank you.
I have a question about the first one.
Yeah.
Would it go to Nuestras Raíces or to the Guadalupanas? Like, are they a 501c3 or an established organization?
Yeah, so this is specific to the Guadalupanas. They're the ones that are throwing this particular event, and I'm not exactly sure of their funding structure because I know that they're maybe their nonprofit status, or not their funding structure, but their nonprofit status, to where they might be like an underpinning of the church itself. I did mention this to Sterling, and he said if council approved this, we'll cross that hurdle when it comes. But he seemed to think that it would probably be okay as long as we were structuring it to fund the celebration outside of the church for this purpose specifically.
Cool. All right. Councilmember Spence.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a concern about the contribution to Our Lady of Guadalupe. I appreciate your presentation, and I understand the importance of recognizing our community's history. However, I can envision other spiritual practices looking at this as an opportunity to ask for money. I can look at this as other denominations coming to us to ask for money. And I just think in line with separation of church and state, I would not be in favor of donating, even though I recognize it as a worthy cause. Thank you.
I might add a counter to that. I appreciate that stance very much. This celebration is, this community raised the money and built this church by hand, and it's the 100th year of the building. So I see this celebration, and maybe it's just semantics, but I see it as a celebration of the history of the South Side and of La Plaza Vieja, and of the families, the historic families that built the building. But Councilmember Garcia.
And if I can add, I had the same concern as I moved through this. That's why I contacted the city manager, and I realized that on council sometimes even if it's not necessarily a real issue for us legally, the perception of it could be an issue. And so I'm glad that you brought that to the surface and mentioned it, Councilmember Spence. And if that's the way that the council feels, that if that's the majority of the council, I'm totally cool with it. But as Mayor Daggett did highlight, the Guadalupanas is a subset of the group that is not necessarily connected to the church. Now, do they have 501(c) status and such? That I don't know. But they're not necessarily the church itself, so to speak. They're kind of just a community organization that kind of helps fundraise and do things for the church. But Mayor, you are very right when it comes to this. It's not necessarily condoning the religion itself. It's really the building and the community building around that.
Councilmember Matthews.
Thank you, Mayor. I know the celebration, just with the historical value to it, it does draw visitors. The celebration is going to draw outside visitors to it. So I'm looking at it more of a celebration and an event for the community. It's not a religious, it's for the Church of Guadalupe, but it's specifically for a celebration. And that church is also part of our, some of the walking tours because of its historic values. So for that, I think that, I would support giving to this because it's a celebration and a historical event. I would support that.
Sterling?
Mayor, and I do want to clarify, I know that Councilmember Garcia mentioned that he had talked to the city manager, but it was me that he had talked to when it came to that question. And my understanding, the way that it was explained as well, was, as you indicated, Mayor, Councilmember Matthews, that it was a community historical celebration, that the donation would be made to the Guadalupanas, not directly to the church, and that it wasn't a donation to the church. It's for the celebration of the community, the historical context of it, which is being celebrated, and the contributions to the community.
Okay, do you have a question about this one?
Well, it's not really a question. I just thought I'd muse over it for a few seconds. I really appreciate your concerns. What impresses me about this is that it's coming from a council member. It's not a request coming from the audience or the public at large, which is something I would highly discourage people to do with the this initiative fund. This is for things that come to our attention individually that we bring forward to council. It's not a big free pot of money for the public to just come and make requests for. So that kind of alleviates my concerns on that front. And I just wanted to mention that I'm also very much in favor of the donation to the 501c3 in support of our DPS fallen officers. I think that's a great idea, and I would fund that to the recommended $1,000.
But wait, there's more. So, so I work pretty closely with the local rescues and shelter, and they are bursting at the seams, as I'm sure everyone knows. Our local rescue organizations are finding more animals simply dumped out in places because the shelters are full and the rescues are full. They don't have enough foster homes. So High Country Humane and the Coconino Humane Association with Dr. Kelly's, which is a new veterinary clinic, it's more of a low-cost clinic in Flagstaff, they are getting together for 4 days of free spay and neuter surgeries. And it will just, all the doctors will be, they'll be at 2 locations, and it will just be one animal after another trying to, and people who are able to get their animal spayed or neutered, they'll be income qualified. So this is for people in our community who otherwise wouldn't be able to afford to spay or neuter their animals, which leads to the overall problem that we have. So they're doing 2 dates in May, 2 whole days, and they're doing 2 whole days in September. My request is to the Coconino Humane Association for $1,000 for the May event, and then in the next fiscal year, $1,000 for the September event. Councilmember Aslan.
Mayor, I move that we adopt 2 dogs and 3 cats.
Can I ask Garcia to repeat his dollar amounts?
Sure. So for the Guadalupanas, I recommended 500. That's up to the council. And for the Bella Folklorico, I recommended 1,000. And I'm amenable to discussion.
So can I just add a comment back? I know it's adding up fast. We haven't, it doesn't total the 7,000 yet, but I was really thinking of $1,000 for each of the family members. We have a lot of great organizations that need money, but these officers gave their ultimate sacrifice. I know Hunter was only married a little over a year, and his wife is having a really hard time, so is his whole family. So I just think that us as a city, because it was our ask, and I know it was in the line of duty, and it's where their heart was, that I just feel that a more appropriate dollar amount would be 1,000 each.
Anything else? Okay, and Councilmember House has indicated that the Guadalupanas do have a 501c3 status, and she has a comment.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So I just wanted to go back to the Ballet Folkloricos request. I just was looking at their various sponsorship levels, Councilmember Garcia, on the public site that they have, where they've indicated the request for sponsorships, and the gold level sponsorship is actually $700. So I was wondering if you would be amenable to that being the amount for that organization The amount that you indicated for the Guadalapanas sounded good to me. Mayor, I support your requests as well. And I am fully on board with supporting the officers at whatever level council is comfortable with. Um, yeah, that's all.
Thank you. Vice Mayor, and then Councilmember Garcia.
Thank you. I just wanted to thank my colleagues for bringing all of these forward. I think they achieve our goals and are very important for many reasons. I had brought a couple of items last year and decided to kind of sit back and see what you all came up with, and this is fantastic. I am 100% on board and very thankful that you are thoughtful and really looking out for the community. I appreciate it.
Councilmember Garcia.
Thank you so much, Mayor. I'll weigh in on the dollar amounts for Councilmember House. It would be an honor to give each family member $1,000, or each family group $1,000 for their sacrifice. And yeah, I'm completely open to bring that $1,000 down to $700 as Councilmember House recommended. For all the reasons that she stated, it makes perfect sense, and yeah, it would be awesome to see the Humane Society get some help as well. So I'm all on board for all of them. Thank you.
So we're looking at $2,000 for the first, $500 for the Guadalapanas, $700 for Ballet Folklorico, and it's $2,000 for the Humane Association, but it's $1,000 in this fiscal year and $1,000 in the next fiscal year.
Does that include adopting an animal each as well?
I'm sure that they would throw in a dog for each of us.
Any Dalmatians?
If we wanted it. Councilmember House.
I am just indicating right now that I cannot add another animal to my household. I have all three of them with me right now, but I am fully in support of a City Hall animal. I can't see Joanne's face right now, but
That's been shut down already. So are we in agreement with those dollar amounts? And staff, you have it? And yeah, these are great, and thank you for bringing them forward.
Mayor, we will need a
motion?
official motion, yeah.
I think this happened last time, too. Can I have a motion for $2,000, $500, $700, and $1,000 each fiscal year?
I'll take a stab at it.
Second.
If the mayor's summary was sufficient, let's move forward.
Okay.
A simple so moved would work.
So moved, seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, thank you, everyone. Okay, future agenda item requests. So we received a citizen petition changing the name of Columbus Avenue to an Indigenous representative name. And was the petitioner here to say, yes, please come up?
Hi, my name is Michelle John. I'm a teacher at Kinsey Elementary, so I'm working with Daryl Marks and the Flag High Native American Club students. And so, yes, we are requesting that the name be changed from Columbus Avenue to something more appropriate for the Native communities in our area. I know the students at Kinsey and Flag High have kind of created a presentation. We weren't sure if that was something that was supposed to be presented today, but due to the weather, all after-school programming had to be closed, so the students couldn't come, although we do have one. Yay! So if there's a date where we can schedule this, then we'll have the presentation ready for the council.
Okay. Thank you very much. And City Manager, did you have something you wanted to add?
I did, Mayor Council, I just, we can coordinate with you when we bring this back to council. I think we will have a staff presentation. I think the one thing that I just wanted to bring up today is just some flexibility with the name of the street. So we're going to be looking, currently there are three different, it's Highway 180, Columbus Avenue, and Schweitzer Canyon. So looking at something that just may make more sense for our community with a name change. So just providing some flexibility for our team to bring back a recommendation for that. But we will coordinate with you on a presentation at that time as well.
All right, we just need 3 thumbs up to move this forward. And you got all thumbs up. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up we have open call to the public. I do not see anything. And then we have informational items, 2 from Mayor, Council, and staff, and future agenda item requests. I am going to start with Councilmember Spence.
I have nothing this evening. Thank you.
Councilmember House.
Just one thing this evening, Mayor. Myself, Vice Mayor Sweet, and Councilmember Garcia happened to attend the memorial on Saturday at around the same time, and Vice Mayor Sweet and I had the opportunity to speak with some of the firefighters who were there, and they raised a really, I think, timely and important concern for us in terms of testing for cancer risk. I think many of us probably have seen the article in the newspaper, I believe just today, about the new state adopted policies for decontamination to reduce cancer risks among firefighters. But there's also just a desire among our firefighting teams to incorporate cancer screening into their budget and their resources. So I'd like to bring that forward as something for us to talk about in our future budget conversations and just in general in terms of our fire teams. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor.
Thank you. I have a couple of things. This week, I attended the Sunnyside Neighborhood Association. Councilmember Garcia was there as well. And we talked about the neighborhood plan, the 4th Street Business Group, hopefully getting that started, and the 4th Street redevelopment plan. And kudos to this group. They worked very hard on creating a lot of solutions and forward momentum on getting some actual things started and implemented. And it was just great to be there and listen. And I plan on getting more involved and helping them get these different facets of the Sunnyside neighborhood going. Saturday was the I Heart Pluto Festival, and as you all know, it's one of my favorite things, and I loved it. I was able to give the opening remarks. It was another wonderful night. I try and go every year. It's a great event. And a little birdie told me that someone has a birthday today, and his name is Sterling Solomon, and I was wondering if we could do a quick happy birthday song.
Let's try to make it better than that one time that we sang to you.
Please don't do it that way.
You don't need to sing, it's all good.
Oh, yes, we do.
Permission to remain seated, Your Honor.
I don't know if we've gotten any better.
And many
I think you
more.
improved.
Trust me, that was better.
That was better. Thank you. That's very nice.
Councilmember Aslan?
Nothing.
Councilmember Garcia?
Just mentioning a couple of things that I'll be attending this week. On Friday, I will be at the Northern Arizona Hunger Action Partnership Q1 gathering. And then I will be racing, well, I won't be racing, I'll be doing the speed limit promptly across town to interact with the Diablo Trust 2026 annual meeting. That's it for me for today. Thank you.
Councilmember Matthews?
Thank you, Mayor. Tomorrow, Vice Mayor Sweet and I will be virtually attending the Mountain Line meeting. It's virtual completely, so if any community members want to join in, they need to sign into a computer. And then I just wanted to give recognition. I know there was so much going on with all the events that happened about 2 weeks ago, but one organization that actually stay silent a lot of the times, and we forget about them. I wanted to just give them a recognition, acts of kindness. The day after the mass shootout, they did deliver 14 platters of Subway sandwiches and cookies. And I think this last week they brought lunch to, well, that was for Flagstaff PD, and then this week Flagstaff Fire. And I just wanted to highlight them. One of the things they focus on is paying for funerals for people who have committed suicide. And they have covered funeral services for and burial services for 2 suicide victims this last year. And that's just, kind of goes under the radar, but it's a really important service. And I just wanted to give them a shout out.
Thank you. All right, I had a great meeting, and I want to let people know about this organization. There are paid career exploration. It's a paid career exploration program for youth facing barriers, and this is Arizona at Work, and it's through the, it's called the Explo program, and I can give more information to people if they're interested. I'm going to be emailing division heads with this information so that they can consider whether this is something that they would like to get involved with. But it's designed for youth ages 16 to 24 who are not enrolled in school or any program of education other than a high school equivalency program, and they face barriers such as dropped out or stopped out of school, subject to the justice system, unhoused or runaway, currently or formerly in foster care, pregnant or parenting, a person with a disability, basic skills deficient, English language learner, or low income. And these are essentially paid internships for these youth to get some work skills and to help them explore career paths. So again, I can give more information about that if anyone is interested. And one thing that has not been mentioned today is that we have an Athena Award winner sitting here, and that is our esteemed city manager, Joanne Keene. And in true Joanne form, she thanked her husband and her dog, Mabel. And I couldn't have been prouder to read your name on the card. That was wonderful. So congratulations.
Can we sing something for Joanne?
You won the Athena.
Thank you. I appreciate it very much, Mayor and Council.
Do you have anything,
I have
City
just a
Manager?
couple of quick updates. We're getting quite a few emails regarding train horns, and just know that our team has been in touch with BNSF and that we're going to work on some communication out to the public. There are some issues with both of the BNSF crossings at Fanning and Steves, not the actual crossings, but the flashing light system. Our understanding is everything's safe, but it's just not triggering the normal flashing X's, so the trains are sounding their horns, and I heard them at my house all weekend. So we'll be getting out some communication on that. The second is, I think you've probably all heard that we're getting some snow. And it looks like this is actually the real deal. Our teams are prepared, we're ready to go, and just know that we do have a lot of internal conversations and external conversations with our partners to determine, what our operations look like for the day after. So just letting all of you know that we're on it and we're excited, and it looks like it's going to be a lot of snow. So thank you.
All right, thank you all for a short meeting. We are adjourned.